And welcome. My name is Johnny Fragan. I'm from All Total Coaching. Today is the first meeting I'm conducting in Sydney on the Man Cave. Welcome to part one of the Man Cave. Today, I'm gonna MC an event of a support group for men and all the issues or some of the issues men are facing today as suicide in Australia is going through the roof. On average, every day in Australia, 8 people commit suicide, 6 of them are men. For those that doubt what I just said, please go to the Australian Bureau of Statistics /suicide and you'll see that what I just said now is correct. I mentioned this in the book dramatically. Now, I'm not implying that anybody in this meeting today is suicidal, but my job and my friend's job here is to help people conduct a support group, as a lot of men don't know what to do when they have issues and they feel despondent. And this is where a lot of pressure happens when there's divorce or when they're blue-pilled or they're in situations where they don't know what to do. So my name is Johnny Fragan. Today we're going to start the meeting. Some people don't want to show their face. I'm going to turn around. We're gonna have a person talk about certain issues and for a few minutes, and then we're going to get other people that are in this meeting to respond for them. So we would like to start with our friend.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my name is Zu, and I have a question in regards to raising boys. And so I have a 7-year-old from a relationship, and my ex decided that she wants to homeschool. Now she decided to work 4 days a week, and she's dead against conventional school. So any ideas about how, so my main concern is how I can socialize him without going to school, or how I can get her to change her mind on schooling.
Okay, that's the question. Okay, anybody would like to respond? Because I've got a partial, anybody? To this question. That's a very particular question.
So
yes.
Have you ever asked why she wants to do it that way? Have you ever got a real sort of in-depth answer from her?
So initially we were both of the view that homeschooling would be more effective in terms of academic achievements, but socially now it appears that he's taken out of his social group, so he doesn't socialize with peers, and she's still all about this academic achievements, and she's giving me examples how he has friends, but all his friends are at school, and or their younger friends who are not at school yet.
You know what? What's interesting?
Can you raise your voice, please?
I was on the phone literally just before on the train, and I was having this exact same conversation. Mm-hmm. And during the week, I caught up with a friend, and I was having this exact same conversation. Look, I think it is duality. So, for example, I used to be a teacher myself, right? I taught governmental education, both here and overseas. And what I can say is with education now, more national governmental, it's not open education, right? It's basically you're going to be taught an agenda, there's going to be a narrative to everything, and that includes who teaches, that includes what is in the textbooks, it's right across the spectrum. But in saying that, the healthiest thing children get from going to school is the early cognitive developmental stages of social interaction. And we all know this in this world, that it's your social skills pay more than the education itself. We all know that, right? So, but if you were to look at what will pay off more, social skills, social interaction, then that would be my answer. That's at least in
but his question is, how do you convince her to do otherwise? I agree with you. Social interaction is extremely important.
I've given you how I would say it. I don't know if you've ever said it like that, but if she care about your kid's success, That's what you'll say.
You need to give them social interaction to all of us is extremely important.
Pay more dividends later in their life, at least in this world.
But think about it, if somebody's got more social skills, they both got the same skills, two people, you'd give that particular job to somebody that's got more social skills than somebody that's what do you call it, closed and he's internalized and he's not externalized, you know what I mean? So he would benefit.
Even if you was to do like medical science, introverted type of roles which involve, scientific method, mathematical method, etc., which doesn't require active socialising to get the job done, whether data analytics, statistics, whatever. Even if they were to do them, when you're working in this country, when you're working in any type of business, there needs to be a degree of social skills, and the more enhanced your social skills are, the more you can work your way up that pyramid scheme, the top that Jordan Peterson talks about, the social hierarchy. Even though you wouldn't like to think it exists, it exists.
It exists.
And that's how it is. And I know because I work in corporate sales, and I've seen who the high flyers are, the best socially adapted people.
100%.
Sorry, John. You go. Sorry.
When we think about school, is that the only social environment that we're exposed to?
When you're a child, yes.
Well, partly. Not every child social interacts with, it's not the ideal environment, the social interact. Most of the doing is academia. And there's little breaks. What I would suggest is focus on maybe some of those academia, which your ex seems to be interested in. But outside of that, sports, after hours, I'm not sure that would play a part. The reason why, if you think about the friends that you have from school, you still have them. I know for myself, I don't. I had best friends that after I left school. So for me, it would be to try and keep them busy through some form of social sports. Whether it's soccer, jiu-jitsu, martial arts, whatever. I did that with my son. So when it comes to my son's social skills, I don't believe he learned it through school. He learned it through his outside activities. Because even he's only 21, he doesn't keep in touch with many of his school friends. Most of his friends are through the soccer, through the jiu-jitsu, through the various different things that he did. So for me, I wouldn't worry too much personally.
Okay, follow-on question. So
Just 1 second before we continue.
Yeah.
What I would say is you have to show the benefits that he will benefit, the kid, not you. Because she's divorced with you, she doesn't care about you. So you have to show the benefits that he will gain. And if you want to convince a woman, the best way to convince her is not from 0 to 100, from 0 to 2 to 4 to 6. Gradual change does the trick. Because if you want to change, you're wrong, you have to say, I agree, but if you do this, just this. Because if you add little increments, she won't see that over time you're changing her. And to give you an example, how many times you were with a woman and she changed you gradually, just do this, by the time you know it, you're doing everything.
You know what?
Because they do it gradually.
Do you want your son, daughter, is it daughter or son?
son.
Son. Do you want your son to be somebody who is socially adept, socially skilled, or do you want them to be socially retarded? That's literally what you want.
That's a very good point.
Rhetorical question to your wife, right, or your partner, to say, because at the end of the day, her as a woman knows, oh my God, my son has to be socially adept. I better send him to school. That's the argument. That's literally the argument. I don't know what she values or whatnot, but honestly, at the end of the day,
but you have to be in a position where you're in a good relationship with her talking, because if you're not, she's going to dismiss everything you say. So you have to do it
she's just going to disagree.
In a position where you're doing it slowly, and you're doing it not for your benefit, for his benefit. Because if you show her how you're going to benefit, she's going to dismiss it.
All right. So first of all, thank you all for contributions. Now, I've been at it for about 3-4 years now. In terms of social skills and asking her questions. I like the idea about after-school stuff. Now, the issue there for me right now is that she lets him choose. So, for example, like she lets him do whatever he wants. And essentially, if he doesn't like something to start with, he doesn't go. When she just tells him that doesn't have to go. Now the issue that John just raised, and this is a real issue. Now, all of the years that I had been in a relationship with her, and right now, we trigger each other intellectually. So she always wants to have an upper hand intellectually.
Oh my God.
So she reads all the books, like, puts like all the psychologists in my face, and and then tells my son about those psychologists, and then my son asks me, like, don't you agree with the psychologists? I go, like,
You have to bring up probably some of the things, writing of Jordan Peterson, what he said about the most important thing, one of the most important skills is social interaction. Because without social interactions, as a kid he's going to grow up to be an introvert, and if he grows up to be an introvert, he won't be able to excel in his personal life, in his work life. He may have some success, but not to the same degree he would have. When you look at Jordan Peterson, how he handles himself in the media, because he's got so many social skills, you can't unbalance him. Because he's so balanced and quiet, you can't. And a lot of people are trying to prick his balloon, but they can't, because he's so relaxed. Because he's got one of the best skills in the work that I believe is social skills.
I'm sure he didn't learn that at school.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, Paul means.
Yeah, I've got a really good friend, a close friend, and he's up the Central Coast now, he's a builder, and he's got a boy, girl, and they've homeschooled the kids, and I think they were extremely happy with it. It's just got to do it. Yeah, and I can pass on his number, and he's a great guy, and he can have a chat with you. But I think they had a really good success story with it. I'm not 100% right.
Yeah, but this is the whole idea about this meeting.
Yeah.
So he or anybody here brings up a certain topic, and if we didn't have this meeting, you wouldn't be able to say this, and now you can exchange numbers and get ideas about this.
Yeah, and he would have a good chat. He's a great guy. And,
So later on, exchange numbers.
Yeah.
But the point is, when you come to changing your ex is your ex because at one point she loved you, but now she's against you. You need to calm it down, and like Jordan Peterson said, do everything in a calm manner. And always make her feel like she's winning, especially in your case because she wants to one-up you, but pretend it was her idea when you do it not directly, indirectly. And we can talk about this topic a little bit later.
I should put you both in touch.
Well,
should be a great case for you.
I'm sure will.
It
But you have
sounds like you need to communicate with her a little bit better.
a little bit differently.
A little bit differently, because
just don't know
it sounds like you and your partner used to have big fights or in the past. It didn't work out, which is obvious. But, maybe she's had a domineering mother, or she had a domineering father with her past or something like that, and then her belief system, that was her belief system that she developed when she was really young, and now that things didn't work out with you guys, now, okay, if they use 50-50 custody, or what?
No, so she sent him against staying at my place overnight.
Okay, so it's going down that way.
So it's been like that for 5 years. Like what I was able to achieve was spend time during the day with him. But now she's using me as a bit of a nanny during the day. So
like John said, I think you need to go a little bit on.
You need to, you never go with women directly, it has to be indirectly. Now I just want to say something.
You can't change them.
It's very, very hard. Now you have to understand one thing. Fighting with her is counterproductive because she's got custody of the kids. Number one, always remember that. Second, arguing with a woman from an emotional point of view, you coming from a logic, is a waste of time. I spoke about this in my meeting. You need to do it from a point of feelings. When you come from a point of feelings, she's understanding. Understand you'll have more time to go with your friends. You'll have more time to go shopping.
Can I say, based on similar experience similar but different, from what I've noticed, the characteristics of most women in today's society, and I'm talking about Western women generally, not, let's say, emerging cultures like to the Western world, like Asian or whatever. My ex-wife was, I think you touched on about a domineering father. Now, she was the first cab off the rank as a child. Now, my father-in-law was this, he was 5 foot nothing, like most Italians, they're 5 foot by 5 foot square. But he was a builder, wannabe, this aggressor, he thought he was Don Corleone, he lived in his own fantasy, the mafia. So he was very aggressive, very assertive, and my ex-wife was the first child. So, of course, being this proud, ignorant, arrogant goat herder from Italy, he thought, I'm going to take my daughter to the building site. So he developed her into this domineering male type of a character. So when I did meet her, she was a little bit of a tomboy, but she was also, and I was a fairly dominant character, so I wasn't really going to be run over. But as time went by, I became submissive, started wanting to make sure that what her feelings were all important except forgetting about myself. And as time went by, the relationship did, after 15, 20 years, broke down because she lost her marbles for different reasons, decided to be, promiscuous and all the rest of it. But what I found is, for the first few years after we divorced, she left with a whole stack of money, left me and the kids on my own, right, with no money. And for her, it was all about money. That's the new age woman. Most of them are interested in power through finances, which is evil in itself, right? So they've missed the plot or the point of life. And I found the first few years I was always trying to pacify, trying to reason and ration and try and explain. And you know what? It means fuck all.
It doesn't mean nothing.
There's a comedian you should look up. His name's Bill Burr. I don't know if
Yeah.
He talks. There's one scene he talks in one of his stand-ups, right? And you know which one I'm talking about. Women will do this. They'll stir and they'll stir. But when because we know we're loyal, but we're aggressive nature beasts. So they'll pick on something that you don't like, and you'll get reactive and you'll get aggressive or you'll get angry.
This is where no matter what, in an argument with a woman, I explain this to people, don't react.
Yeah.
And I've said this a million times. I know I'm sorry about that. I'm repeating this. When in doubt, keep your mouth shut, because the woman will stir you, wants to see the weak points.
That's right.
And the moment she finds the weak points, guess what she's going to do? Bang.
Yeah.
She wants to find a chink in your arm.
Yeah, but women are better at staying on point than men by nature. If you want bookkeepers that just do this all day, mate, fucking women, don't get blokes, okay? Unless the bloke is one of those who's thinking he's dead and he's pure white. He's white, he's never seen the sun in his life. But women are very dedicated to mechanical process. They don't stop. And that's how they think when they're arguing. They will stay on point. No, you did this. No, the rule says you need to do this. But you'll get here, but sweetheart, don't worry, they're our kids. No, the judge said, and she's going to do this to you until you're sick. You've got to learn to do the same. Is it my time for the kids on the weekend? Don't answer the call. We're making a rule. I'm cutting you out. Unless it's
but the problem is she's got access to the kids.
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but still.
When the kids are in his custody on the weekend, let's say it's every second weekend or whatever.
I've got it covered, so it's not.
Okay.
But when you can't, can I tell you, it's the hardest thing to do. I learned the hard way, and now she's turning. You've got to be, pardon the expression, you've got to be a cunt. And you've got to say, no.
Yeah, you have to
I'm
say
busy
that.
with the kids, don't waste my time. There's no emergency, the kids are fine, they're healthy. Thank you very much. And if she starts to manipulate the kids via using psychologists and giving them examples, that's narcissism. You've got to stop that and say, no, this is not how it works. The kids are with me, I will give them my parenting skills the way I choose, and you do the way you think. That's what makes the world go round. We can't all be like you. Because they're narcissists, they will impress upon. If you act in any way weak or submissive, believe me, you'll never end.
All the problems of men that have with women in the West stem from a few issues. But the main two things are not keeping your mouth shut and not saying from time to time no. Because if you don't put boundaries, guess what? They're gonna break. Just imagine this: a woman's the picture and you are the frame. As long as there's a frame, there's a boundary. If you let her push the frame and break the frame, not only the frame's going to break, the painting is going to break. Your job as the man is to put boundaries from time to time. Again, I said this many times, not all the time be a dictator, but you need to say no. And 90% of women will throw a tantrum when you say no, but guess what? They'll realize you've got more balls from time to time. And every man here, I'm not going to name men, including me, that is divorced is because he didn't know when to shut up and say no from time to time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, he's right.
Anybody wants to correct me, by all means, here, I'm listening.
Just can I, on this case here, we're talking about a child, and you know you're worried about having that social interaction.
I think you need to communicate what you really want for your son too. I don't think she's letting you have an opinion, and I think you need to communicate that in such a way that, hey, this is my son too, and I believe in this, so you need to come to a compromise. Because she's a domineering character by the sound of it.
Yeah.
I just think you need to communicate in such a way which would take it's not going to fix.
She doesn't take a different opinion. So
I want to stop here. I don't want to be rude, but we've already passed on this topic for 10 minutes. I want to continue, and the reason is because I want every person here to talk. It's all about me, so I want to continue. I'm not pleased. So this is part 1 from Man Cave number 1. We're talking about problems with children, and we'll continue in the next segment, part 2 of Cave 1 on the Sydney Man Cave. Anybody would like to come and join us the 1st of November in Sydney, email me at john@sosdating.com. Thank you very much for listening. I'm your friend, Johnny Fragan. Bye-bye.